Coming up on this episode, Big Dave back in town, and we're exploring happiness even further. This time from the perspective of our habits. And while we bounce around, which is one of our habits.
Indeed.
Go on many tangents, which is another one of our habits.
Yeah, wait for the bit about kitchen shops.
Often get distracted by shiny objects like taps and other random things. But it is interesting to take some time to explore how our habits impact our happiness, how they impact our lives in general, why we do some of the insane and sane things that we do, and how we can better direct ourselves through life. So, let's go get into this next episode of the mini-series, exploring happiness and our habits. What's going on, beautiful people? This is the Perspective Chasers podcast. I'm your host, John.
And I'm Dave.
Back once again.
With the Renegade Master.
And on this episode, we are continuing our delve into all things about happiness. Inevitably asking the question, do we keep ourselves 2 steps from happiness? Because I know it's something that I am guilty of time and time again. On the previous episode, which you missed, you lazy bugger.
Commitments call me lazy.
Priorities.
Oh, I even scheduled to be here.
Was you not?
I think so.
I don't know. I've just missed you, bro.
What?
Anyway, yeah, on the previous episode, I delved into how happiness affects your hormones. And I have learned a thing or two myself, I'm not going to lie. Like, the ride of dopamine and the friggin' dumps that you get of, like, cortisol and just friggin' the whole roller coaster of it all really kind of sends your body through a spin. But it impacts more than just the inner world of your body. It impacts the outer world too. Like, bro, if I'm stressed out, I'm a lot more likely to eat some bad food or make some bad decisions in general.
That's where I am right now. Hey.
But do you see what I mean? So, like, whereas if you're happy, yeah, cool, I'll try something new. I'll have a salad or freaking drink some water or whatever else. But nah, if I'm miserable and I want some...
I want sugar. Yeah, man. I want sugar right now.
But this is why I think happiness impacts us in so many ways that we don't even think. Like, bro, for most people, when they think of happiness, at least to me anyway, their initial thought is going to be of like a smiling face and this and that. But even yourself, you're not somebody that is expressive when you're happy.
I can be. But, like, if I'm on my own just doing things, I'm unlikely to just be smiling away. Otherwise, I'm going to feel like I'm a psycho. Like, imagine if you're just driving on your own and you're just there like, you look like a nutter.
Yeah.
Anytime you roll up on someone and you just see them smiling and they're on their own, my initial reaction is, cracked.
I'm pretty sure there is literally a horror film called Smile.
Yeah, like, if I see someone on their own smiling, I'm immediately thinking you're tapped. Like, it's London, you're tapped. But I don't mean I'm not happy.
Yeah, but I think maybe it's that part of like British stereotype where it's like we're not as expressive as other cultures and that. Like,
yeah, I mean, I can be expressive, don't get it twisted, but I just don't want to.
But again,
I'm more expressive when I'm with people. Like, if I'm on my own, what have I got to express? I know what I feel. I don't need to express it externally, do I? But I'm not even going to see it. Yeah, that's the point.
This ain't a criticism, like you say. Like,
it feels like it, bro. I missed one episode. Now man's coming after me.
Not even. It was an interesting one, but it's more about like just that overall idea. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, bro, if you was... I guess me and you fall in towards more of the kind of stoic side of happiness. Whereas, like, we're not gleeful and like, if I'm like, my heart will smile more than my face will smile.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense to anybody. Do you know what I mean? Like,
makes sense. Yeah, to me it does. No, you know you're happy on the inside. It doesn't mean you don't need to be reflecting it here.
Yeah.
The inside, man, I'm alright. Like, it's not that bad. I'm alright. I'm good. I'm happy.
Do you know what? It's not that bad. It's such a bad thing to say in terms of like talking happiness. Because it's something that I say a lot. But again, you're not agreeing that things are good or... Do you know what I mean? you're saying like, yeah, they're bad, but not that bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it kind of undercuts the actual tone of it in many ways.
That's the British side. If I'm happier, I don't want to show off. You know, when people like, if you generally are like, I'll feel good, and someone's like, hey man, how you doing? Immediate response is, I'm alright, man, because you just don't want to be like, I'm good.
Yeah, you play it down.
Because what happens if they turn around and go, my nan died? Oh, my bad. I'm still good though, because it's not my nan. You know, like there's always that hesitation. Like I don't want to rub this into the world.
Yeah, but as well, like. Bro, I don't remember the name of the tribe, but there was a tribe that if you basically bragged about your hunt, they would kill you, skin you, use your skin to make a drum to beat and ward off evil spirits. Right. So like anybody that was like boastful or whatever, like, and now if that ain't a lesson in humility in its own,
yeah,
like we will literally make a drum out of you. If you want to be that boastful and brag about, cool, we'll use you to ward off all the bad spirits. Like that's epic to me. But I think there's so much of that it also kind of undermines how we do these things. So like, I think the closest one we can kind of compare ourselves to is going to be the Yanks, like the Americans in terms of like culture and everything else, where I think in terms of their habits and like happiness and kind of, what's the actual word? Just general support for one another, like that kind of camaraderie. They want to see each other succeed because to themselves, that it's the land of the free, it's where dreams come to happen and so they're trying to validate their own thoughts about it. So this is kind of what I realized in the last episode, to jump back, is that your brain tries very, very hard to make itself right. Whether in the outer world it's right or not, your brain will try to make itself right, and
don't I know that?
Yeah, and it will find things that makes it go, yeah, you was right there, mate. You could have been wrong 1,000 times before, but the one time it's right, that's the one it will remember, store, inventory, and and that will often build people's ideas and everything else.
Okay.
So when you're talking about people's habits and that, if we're coming from British culture and that, and you're somebody that's like, oh, you just got a promotion, you come home or you go to the pub and you're like, boys, I just got a promotion. First thing you hear is, smug twat. Whereas in America, they'd be like, oh, cool, let's throw you a party.
To be fair, I guess I lean more towards the Yank side, because I'd probably be the first to say, like, well done.
But
I know what you mean in general, though.
On a one-to-one level, yes, it is a lot easier because, again, you'll be...
Even in a group setting, I think I'd be the first to say, because, I mean, I don't know, I just try and be different. I don't really like that whole negative nonsense that we do as a culture. Because it is right what you said, like, we are likely to be like, oh, look at this one. Whereas I'm like, screw that, man. They've done something good, man. 100%. At least you can be like, my man. I mean, don't cost you anything.
I come from that abundance mindset, so I'm like, hey, there's more than enough for everybody in that. But again, on the flip side of that, I've also seen when somebody gets a bit too smug, I'm probably the first one to step up and go, oh, I'm going to check you.
Oh yeah, but that's if someone gets too smug. That's a good feeling when you check someone who's like righteous and arrogant. They need a slap down.
But how that all plays onto our habits and how we do things. Like I say, like if you go to your mates and like the kind of schoolboy teasing and everything else, like when you have your first crush and like if the habit and that kind of behavior around that is positive, you're going to have far more of a domino throughout your life that is going to have that positive. Whereas if you're teased around that manner or whatever else, again, you're going to shut down, and there's so many parts of life where that's going to happen. Bro, there are people that freaking eat their school lunch in the toilets and all of that because they get bullied or they're self-conscious. Bro, I remember there was a time when I was probably at my biggest. But I didn't like eating around people because it's like, well, everyone knows I got this big somehow. But again, I thought if I ate slowly or if I ate little bits at a time, I would fool everybody, but I'm not fooling the scales. Do you know what I mean? Like, so the truth comes out there. So like, some of our habits, we try to show some to the world, but then the reality of it is a complete different side. And how many times do we fool ourselves in that sense? And then we're trying to fool the world, but you can't even fool the world. So how are you going to fool yourself?
True.
Like, it's such a mad game of like, when you think that the brain is wired to pursue happiness, It's what motivates us to go and get things. It's literally what's going to build our habits. If you feel motivated to go get something, you get it and then you're disappointed, how likely are you to be motivated to go get that the next time? Whereas if you're motivated to go get something, you get it and you have a positive reaction, whether that be with work interviews, driving, for the opposite sex, whatever it may be, how you have the level of that interaction and how it plays out is going to frame so many of your habits going forward. But I don't think we pay attention to how much it has its implications.
Fair point.
But, all right, take it to something that we know very well, the friggin' gym industry, right? If you build up the habit just of going to the gym, whether you work out or not, you'll have far better long-term success than if you just try to force yourself to go 7 days the first week and then don't go for the next 6 years.
True. I mean, I think half the problem with that, like, for someone like me, when I think about it, is like, if I could go at the same time every time I went, I'd be more likely to go. Because it would become so routine.
Routine and habit.
But 4 times a week, I go at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Done. It would just become clockwork. But the chances of that happening? Slim.
But this is the thing, right? I think some people do respond more to like routine habits. Like, I am so bad for that in both aspects of it. I can fall into a good routine and habits, or I can fall into bad routine and habits.
But I think a lot of us are like that. How many times have most of us said, "Oh, I hate routine," only to realize that we are a slave to routine. Just not the good routine that we want to build for ourselves. How many of us punch in at the same time for work, punch out at the same time? That's routine. How many of us punch in, then get coffee at the same time? That's routine. Have lunch around the same time? Routine. You know, hit the procrastination wall at the same time on a Friday? That's routine.
But
we don't. The problem with that is forming the good routines for yourself, right?
But even little things, right? So like down to the things that we watch. So if you're stressed out and you want to switch off, what is your habit of entertainment? Do you listen to music? Do you read books? Do you watch films? And if so, what time?
Majority of life is routine. It's all built around routines. Like,
yep.
The music I listen to, I literally cycle through very similar music.
Here you go.
I will go through artists, but I'll have a phase of this artist. And I'll be like, oh, phase of this artist. Like, I literally just switched into a new one again. It's not a new artist, it's one I've listened to before. But now I'm going through that vein. Viking death metal, yes.
Sounds poetic.
Every time I drive, I feel like I'm going to Valhalla.
Bro, this is the thing, right? So we spend 45% of our waking hours in routines.
That surprised me it's that low. I mean, I'm looking at it from a very specific point, or very general point, sorry. But to me, most of your day could be categorized into a routine. Genuinely could be. Going to the bathroom is a routine. Because you'll find it's around a similar time.
Yeah, as soon as I wake up.
It's around a similar time.
Yeah.
That's obviously very different. That's an automatic one that you can't really escape, right? The body's going to do what the body does. So I'm being too nitpicky on that one. But you get my point,
Not even
right?
though, bro. There are some people that go once a week. Number 2, I'm talking, not a week.
I'll need to go to the doctor.
But this is the thing, like, this is why...
The amount of time I'd get back in my day if I went once a week. Oh, mate, I'd get so much done.
About 4 hours back a day.
Easy, bro. You know what I mean?
But
man, that would be an event on itself, though, once a week.
As well, though,
I'd be
yeah.
taking the candles in all sorts.
And then, when you go, they need to take a few candles.
Take a few souls.
But then, it also makes me think about, like, that's a lot of guys' downtime. Bro, when I'm in the toilet, I'm not rushing. That's the one time there is a physical locked door between me and the rest of the world. I want to check out for a minute.
Yeah.
So now, if I only get that once a week...
Unless you have that empty house vibe of keeping the door open when there's nothing else around. Oh.
That's a rare pleasure.
I don't know, but it's a spot.
But like...
You can feel the green vapors of the smell just crawling around the house.
Well, it's just not contained. Do you know what I mean? Like you're just not hotboxing yourself with
Which
your
is
own
nice.
booty cakes.
It's nice. Not to have to hotbox yourself. Somewhere else's problem.
But that's the thing. That there's so many aspects to the different habits, and that. Again, like, bro, a free house could be something that you get once every couple of months or a couple of years, depending on like your situation in life or whatever else. It could be your partner that you share a house with, your family or whatever, right? So now, even though that only comes around once in a blue moon, everybody will have their go-to things that they want to do. The things that they can never do. And they're just like, ooh, I can. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it really does make me think of like how important habits are to our happiness. When we spend so much of our life in habits, a lot of habits have negative connotations to it, i.e. bad habits like smoking, drinking, sugar. Like, bro, genuinely, I'd like to delve into like sugar addiction and everything else. One savage addiction.
Yes.
That is freaking just excused because it's part of our food.
I mean, genuinely, I think if I was to take a week off of like sugars that I'm choosing to put in my body, right? So when I say that, I mean like the excess that I'm clearly enjoying, like fizzy drinks, muffins, cookies, cookies, stuff like that, right? If I kept it to just like, you can take it from like fruit, I reckon I would be so erratic.
Really?
Oh, I think my mood would be savage, bro.
See,
I genuinely think like I would like go through withdrawal because I need to start weaning off of that stuff. But
so this is the thing, right? And
I think
I've
savage.
Genuinely found myself being sad before because I ain't had a fizzy drink.
That's what I'm saying. I think I'd be murdering people.
I gave myself such a talking to because I felt like a child having a frigging sulking tantrum. Where it's like, I can't have a fizzy drink. It's just like, so what? Like, bro, there are so many more bad things that could happen in life. Like you're sad over freaking sugar.
It's like quite a lot of people are doing like this 3-day water fast, and I understand why they want to do it. But I thought to myself, if I'd done that, I'm wilding out, bro. I'm wilding out.
Do you know what the mad thing is, though? And I'd have to like fact check on the back end of this or somebody else. I don't care. It takes a week or more for even one can of Coke to clear out your system.
Not surprising.
Right? So even a 3-day water fast, you're not even halfway clear yet. And yeah, there might be a caveat that obviously just having water, it dilutes it more and flushes it out quicker. Okay, cool, maybe. But still, bro, that means even if you have one cheat day a week where you're like, oh, my cheat is a can of fizzy drink. Cool. That's perpetually in your cycle for life.
Yeah, it's the same with caffeine though. Like it takes a good 10 hours for caffeine to clear your system.
I thought it was more than that. No. I thought they had like a half-life of like 12 to 18 hours, no?
No, it's 10. But the amount of caffeine I drink a day, that 10-hour clock never resets. You know the one there?
True. I mean, I've probably been up for a couple of hours now, but I'm already like 20 hours worth of caffeine.
So say like the amount of stimuli we give our bodies that we never give them a chance to recover from. You'd be fried for the first 3 days when you take caffeine and sugar away and everything else. You'd just be like, I'm going to kill something.
Yeah, I don't think I would get anything done for those first couple of days.
I would literally have to book like a week off work and just sit in a dark room.
Yeah.
Just me and my plant. Just me and Patricia, man.
Patricia.
Yeah, that's her name. She grows strong.
So?
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Up to like 8 leaves now, I think.
Bro, I mean, again, that's something that now is going to bring you a weird amount of pleasure every time.
No, it's a stress, man, because now every day I'm like, is she got enough water? Is she getting enough daylight? It's a goddamn plant, bro. Why did my missus give me responsibility?
Because you need it.
Damn it.
But
the thing just has to survive until we move in together. That's all I need to do is get into there, bro.
Even that, like, I don't know, bro, because, like, would it mean as much to you if she took care of it? I don't think it would.
100%. It would mean more, because if it dies, then I'd kill her.
Nah. Like, again, I hope, or I think you're trying to be playful here or whatever else, but I think genuinely, like, if she took that responsibility off of your plate, it would undermine the happiness that brings. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that there is a kind of not to get too soppy, but like a kind of poetic nature to that gift in which she provided and then you have to nurture and keep it alive, where it genuinely takes both of you for it to flourish. So now if you just go, your responsibility, what kind of tone does that set for the entire relationship or whatever else?
Of course.
Now imagine the kid and it's just like, Xbox. I would be so disappointed in you. We would have so many words if you were just freaking...
You know that if I was a dad, bro, I'd be banging Xbox, but the kid would be there.
I started out like that. Like, bro, it's cool. Like when they don't get around much. The first couple of years, 1 maybe 2 years, you can get away with that. Yeah, bro. Try doing that with my little one on your lap. Not only would she take the controller and freaking probably beat you with it, she'd have a go at the game herself. So like, having that kind of, even that's a weird kind of thing with happiness where you, like, when you're talking about kids and that, where you can see like glimmers of yourself or just little kind of traits where you're just like, I know where that's come from and that's cute that they kind of gravitated onto that. Like, even that, seeing how like a child forms their habits and like the different kind of reward processes that they have and how they can associate things differently, and like even like little lies and cheekiness and all of that stuff where it's, you can literally see the brain forming and trying to figure out the world. And then you can see like, even when like little one hears it, like you're coming, she'll get excited and literally be jumping around, friggin' shouting your name. So like, but to me, obviously I know you, and my mind and my daughter's mind work very, very differently. But like, I'll still be happy to see you, but that happiness manifests a lot differently. Do you know what I mean? Like, so just seeing how all of these different things where, like I said, not everybody's kind of emotive with their happiness. Some people are, some people ain't. Some people are more stoic, and you caring for a plant is you showing that like you've got that ongoing appreciation and that kind of happiness around that thing. So like when you look at happiness and your habits, you can see how you've got the habits for escapism, and then you've got the habits for actually building life and reward and the kind of good side of it. But if you fall too much into the escapism and, oh, I need to just kind of survive life, which we're so freaking guilty of, then you just get freaking trapped in this cycle of chasing dopamine that doesn't ever come. So like on the last episode, we delved into like the actual, like how dopamine spikes higher in the anticipation of an event than it does when you actually receive the reward. And in that same sense, the chase is always better than the catch. So unless you actually understand that even like that chase kind of part of the relationship and everything else, there's more higher peaks and lower lows when it's like, oh, do they like me? Don't they like me? And everything else. Whereas once you're in that relationship, they may not peak as high, but they kind of last longer and peak more steady. Does that make sense? Or is that wrong?
I'm trying to make sense of it.
So like in the kind of courting stage, if you will, you yo-yo a lot more. Whereas in a relationship, there's less kind of honeymoon phases and freaking, yeah, life is amazing, da 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 da. But it's more like, we're good, like I'm happy, I'm content, da 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 da.
I mean, the ideal world is it should be a nice constant, really, but it should be at a higher level. Because it should always feel good, if that makes sense. Like, at the moment, mine doesn't feel like a honeymoon phase, it just feels really good all the time.
But I would say that is a honeymoon
very much
phase.
into it. Yeah, but, I mean, we're still in the first year, so you could call it that. But ideally, it will just continue like that. Because that's how it should be.
In an ideal world, yeah.
Not even in an ideal world, bro. If you actually just work on things, it should be like that.
Well, alright, so I see this thing the other
Like,
day.
to me, bro, I've been through enough stuff now to be that if it ain't like that, I don't really want it. To be honest.
I hate.
I'm just being upfront. Because to me, it should always feel like that. Like, that's your partner, bro. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, it's not always going to be like, woo, everything's amazing. But, like, you should still feel good. You should still be happy to be with them. You should still want to be with them. So all those things should be like a nice, steady, consistent to me.
But then
it's just not going to be like 10 out of 10, like we're on a goddamn roller coaster and everything's fantastic because I'm like full on dopamine rush.
So what,
you know what I mean?
Okay, so what do you say to that old like adage of like the ones that you love the most are the ones that push your buttons the most?
Absolutely, they can. Absolutely, you push my buttons.
I mean, I try not to. They're too squishy.
But it's one of those ones where you hash that out and you keep it moving, man.
I mean, it's an interesting thing to like look at, because people's habits form differently around like conflict and relationships and everything else. So like if somebody's more, damn it, I forget the official terms or whatever else, but if somebody's more direct in their kind of confrontation style and they're like, hey, we're going to hash this out, or if somebody's a bit more passive aggressive or whatever else, that can mean a whole lot of things for a relationship. So like the kind of old straw that broke the camel's back. If you're somebody that just like smiles and waves and it's just like, okay, cool, I'll take it on the chin, until one day the friggin' straw's broken on the camel's back, and instead of having a few little like bumps and troughs throughout the relationship, you now have one big friggin' tsunami of friggin' arguments and stress. I think there's so many things where, again, that cascades through life. If that's your approach with your relationship, I think that'll be your approach with work conflict, with any type of conflict. Like that's how you deal with it. You either hide from it and freaking let it build up, or you deal with it instantly, or there's going to be other variations I'm missing.
But that's just understanding who you are as a person. Like, some people are very, like, anxious avoidant and things like that.
Here you go. Let's delve into this, if you don't mind, anyway. Why or what about Fred makes you happy? Have you ever thought about that?
Communication. She's made me better at communicating. I am far better at actually explaining how I feel, what I feel, why I feel than I ever had before.
Do you reckon that's because it's of a higher importance to you now than it was previously? Because, like, I'm trying to unpack this from, like...
No, it's because she had the patience to actually want that to happen and sit there and break it down.
But this is what I was just about to go in, because I'm trying to get at, like... Was it the fact that you've always wanted to be understood and now you've found somebody that's actually willing to take the time to sit with you and understand you? So now, again, breaking that habit cycle, now you're like, cool, if we've actually got the time to unpack this and I'm willing to do that work, but previously others weren't or didn't take you down that avenue. Again, like, bro, I'm very much an advocate, and you'll know this probably better than most, of tough love. Like, I'm not always going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. Mm. Like, sometimes I'm going to make you unhappy. Sometimes I am going to push your buttons, and it's going to be for the right bloody reasons. Sometimes it's going to be for the wrong reasons. But again, we'll friggin' hash that out, and friggin' if you disagree or I disagree, let's sort it out. But again, I think as well, like, it comes back to that constant thing of, like, reflection. So even with a relationship, this is what I was going to get into a minute ago, right? There's a thing with like long-term relationships you don't stay in love with somebody. You repeatedly fall in love with somebody. So you might have fallen in love with them back in 19 whatever or 2000 or whatever year you fell in love. But then over the cascading years or the, what's the damn word again? Over the subsequent years, you'll then find new things that you love about that person. You'll see them in new situations, in different lights. You'll change, they'll change and everything else. So now, if you're not willing to look at that and accept that, you'll always miss the opposing side of one another. Like, and I think that's the kind of old thing about when somebody's like, oh, you're not who you used to be. Well, no shit, neither are you.
Bro, exactly that. Exactly that.
Like, so then when you're looking at like, but then that makes me think about like when we're saying so much of our life's habits, and habits tend to form the person or the persona or the personality. Like the different things I choose to do with my time forms my habits, which then forms my personality, which then like, bro, if I listen to a lot of comedy, I know I make a lot more jokes and I'll rip people a lot more because again, my mind's just in that mode a lot more. Mm. If I'm in a lot more kind of like philosophical and emotional thing, even if somebody says to me like, hi, how are you? A general frigging question. I'll run with it down a freaking philosophical manhole that has no relevance to the conversation. But again, that's just where my mind's at and where it's like, oh, cool, question. This is where I'm in the routine or habit of running with it. So how many of those processes just run us through life?
That's a very fair point.
I was having another conversation the other day, and we was talking about how many days there are in life, right? So, in 80 years of life, you're given just over 30,000 days. Considering most people live their life in 30-day chunks, that's 1,000 goes around. You've got 1,000 months from birth till death for most people. Like 80 years is probably a fair life for most. Mm. 1,000 months. That's not a lot.
No, sir.
Like, but when you hear about like, if you had 1,000 of anything, bro, even if you had 30,000 pounds, you feel rich?
Probably not.
Like, bro, you could very quickly spend 30,000 pounds.
I mean, I'd be pretty happy to get 30 racks, but
Trust me, so would I, if anybody's willing. But again, how quickly could that go? So then, how quickly can you
investing some new golf clubs, new camera?
At this point, I just want a holiday.
Probably a couple of holidays and a down payment on my house. Sweet.
Could you?
Someone give me 30 racks.
Again, I don't know though, right? Because let's go on to kind of like, I mean, I've not gone on any kind of freaking structural notes on this, but like on the back end of that, right? Let's flip this over to like the habits of the rich. Yeah, the type of people that spend £30,000 on one bottle of freaking champagne or wine that was bottled in the 1800s.
Yeah. I question how many rich people are actually doing that.
Enough that there are sustainable businesses on this. So like, bearing in mind, like, there are multiple whiskey businesses, wine businesses, cigar businesses that have products that are up in the thousands.
But most of their money won't come from those.
What do you mean?
Most of their money won't come from those items. They are very special editions, right? Most of those companies' money will come from their normal stuff. Talking within 0 to 15 year range, which is perfectly normal.
Yeah, but again, I'm probably well out. Well, not probably.
I know they exist, bro, and I know that there is like massively big ticket items like that. But like, I question how many people. The thing that I believe of the people who are wealthy is that they don't like using their money. They like their money to be making them more money. So actually going out of their way to buy stupid things like that is normally their MO. Like, they may do it once because they may want something like in the house that's like a very special big ticket thing. But I don't see them doing it very often because that's how you lose your money.
I don't know though, because in many forms, I think it's like art is a store of wealth. Like, again,
that's my point. Like, if they're just keeping it in their house because that's something that actually now has value, then I would see it.
Yeah, but bro, again, it's not to say they're always necessarily buying it to consume.
No, sometimes they're buying it just so they don't have to pay more tax on their money.
I know somebody that's literally just gone on a holiday to Dubai with the main intention of buying gold. So yeah, they've gone on holiday, but they're going out to Dubai to buy gold because they get it at a better rate out there than they would back here. And it's historically the best store of wealth for anything.
Well, yeah, especially right now.
So
it's doing nothing but going up.
Exactly, right? So going out there to buy it and continue to stockpile and everything else, great plan. Are most people concerned about buying gold right now? Is that in most people's thing? No. But for some people, that is their world. They're watching gold prices or whatever else. In that same sense, bro, how many yacht companies are there? I don't know nobody with a bloody yacht. But then if we live near the coast, we'll probably know somebody with a boat or some form of yacht or whatever else. So although we're not in that... Bro, there are 8 billion people in the world. There's how many freaking millionaires in the UK alone, right? That are going to be having weird freaking parties, birthdays, weddings, this, that, or whatever else. Like, I reckon the amount of ridiculously expensive stuff sold is far higher than a lot of us probably perceive. Like, again, I always could be wrong, but how can... It's the same instance, right? A bathroom shop. How the hell, in 2025, is there still a bathroom and kitchen shop on the high street? It makes no sense. How many people need a new kitchen or bathroom on a regular basis to the point in which there is a shop on the high street still selling them?
Enough. Definitely enough to sustain a shop.
You reckon?
100%. 100%. Think about how much a kitchen fit costs.
But the thing is, right?
That's not, again, it's different context. That's not a corner shop who needs to sell every so often to maintain numbers. That's a shop that goes, man, we could do like 3 of these a month and we're good, no? Yeah, because it's probably going to cost 10, 20, 30 grand. So yeah, they'll make their money out of that, if that makes sense.
I hear what you're saying there, but at the same time, like
that's
agent. If you buy a whole kitchen, right?
Which most people will.
Whereas as well, yeah, I get that. But as well, you've got like the bigger brands, the B&Qs, the friggin' other stores that also sell them and everything else.
But this is where I was going to go with it, is most people wouldn't go to a B&Q, etc. if they wanted like a very bespoke kitchen. Like if I was getting a mortgage on a place, and I was like, this is mine for a long time. Like this is one we're not going to sell. I'm going to go bespoke. Within reason. Because I want this to be mine. I want as much personalization on it with my missus as possible. Let's make this ours. You see my point? So then I would go to something like that on the high street where I know I can get much more tailoring to what I want. Like there's a person who's going to sit there with me and hash this out with me. Whereas if I go to one of the shops, it's very, we've sold 5,000 of these. Do you want to be 5,000 a month? No, I don't. I don't care for your whitewashed linoleum, whatever it is.
I think that's an interesting thing with like, to relate it back to like habits and everything else in like, are you somebody that stays on script or go off script? Are you somebody that just goes, well, I need a kitchen, I'll get one that's essentially plug and play? Or are you somebody like, I want more bespoke? Because again, that will cascade all through life.
It's like I know someone right now who you know as well. He used to train him. I train him now. He's now in the process of buying his home. Like that's my place. I don't see them going to a store like a B&Q or Homebase, etc. for their kitchen. That's something they'll get done bespoke.
Yeah,
because now that's theirs. You know what I mean? Especially with the amount of work they probably get done on the place.
As well,
why would you go around that one place and go, nah? You would probably go somewhere like that and go, what can you do if I want to do this? Because I've got some wacky ideas and I want to see them put into life. What can you do with me?
Bro, I'd love a built-in pizza oven.
That's why those kind of shops exist. That's why those kind of places exist, bro. Because they literally, you go in and go, I want to do this. They'll go, all right. I want a marble bathtub. I think you're out of your mind, sir, but I might know someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that, again, this is the thing, like, for a lot of people, it's not something that they do often, or again, for me, it's not something, I don't go kitchen shopping or bathroom shopping. No. I remember once going through, and again, this is probably one of the problems with going, like, to just a high street, not a high street shop, but like a generic shop. Like, I went through B&Q, tried every single one of their showers, and couldn't wash my toes without friggin' hitting my butt and my shoulders and my head off of the friggin' multiple surfaces at once. So, like, I do understand that there are people in the market for these things, but you don't think about how much.
No, there's a shop near me that's literally next to a corner shop. So I go in the corner shop, get my energy drink of choice, and then right next door is literally like a bathroom shop. Like, it's just a nice storefront full of like different baths and stuff. And I'm like, the hell's that doing? But it obviously works, bro, because again, they'll probably have smaller ticket items, like bathtubs, which still would probably cost you a fair bit with those ones. Because they're not your generic white basin, fiberglass, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like proper bespoke designs. So they're going to carry a price. And especially if they just sell in stock. If you just sell stock to a couple of people who actually just really like that bath, you only need a few of those, and you've probably made some profit. Then if you have like a full kitchen install or a bathroom install on top of that, you're probably laughing for the month.
As well, like...
How have we got here?
I don't know, bro. Tangents. I think as well, a lot of that business will be kind of like word of mouth and that. So like if you've got a good kitchen guy or you've got a good gardener or whatever else, like those things kind of propel. And again, like to tie it all back in, that's again builds habits. Like a lot of people, to tie it all the way back in actually, back to experiences and everything else. A lot of people, if you go to, sorry to throw you under the bus, IKEA, but if you go to like IKEA, everybody's got an IKEA horror story about putting some furniture together or this, that, or whatever else. So now, if you're thinking about something complex like your kitchen or something like your bathroom where you don't want mold and this and that, you want quality, you want a good experience. So instantly your habit is going to be to pay higher, go somewhere a bit more bespoke, spend a bit more time and effort and energy on the actual thing, opposed to just like, oh yeah, we can just get a generic But there are so many things where, again, it's just how we think. Like, straight away, my mind, because I don't go kitchen shopping and everything else, I'm just like, in my 30 years of life, I've never walked into a freaking kitchen shop going, what am I going to buy here? How the hell are there surviving kitchen shops still in 2025? But your argument is very logical.
Someone's always moving somewhere, bro. Just because we ain't.
I hear that. I mean, I wish I was.
There's always someone moving.
But again, like, it goes to show you how much other people's actions will kind of cascade onto your own. Because straight away, if you do end up into that point of life where you're mortgaging and everything else, and you're like, hey, where did you get your kitchen from? And straight away you ask for other people's opinions, and again, it ends up being like a social frigging thing. So like, this whole happiness kind of exploration ends up being the snake eating its tail, that kaleidoscope of life where like one feeds into the other. So like, your habits lead into your happiness, but then your happiness leads into your habits. The more happiness you get from something, the more likely you are to repeat that thing again. If your kitchen is just a friggin' catalogue one and you don't feel that it's you and you can't cook a pizza or do whatever it is you want to do, it's always going to be a reminder that you was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And your brain wants to know that it was right. For friggin' survival friggin' things and everything else, your brain wants to be the smartest person in the room. Although
Absolutely.
that's not the best advice.
No. God, no.
So just understanding what triggers some of your habits, understanding that, okay, is it just my frame of thinking? Is it simply the fact that this is what I've done or this is what I've always seen done? Like I say, bro, to go back to like shopping habits and that, most of the time I'll go shopping and buy the exact same thing. And I think supermarkets know that. That's why they offer you loyalty prices on things that you buy all the time and da-da-da-da-da.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, they can narrow down their inventory and have less waste and make more money. And to understand your own habits, you can have less waste in your own life.
Mm-hmm.
You can understand, oh shit, I'm wasting time here. I've watched 5 episodes of this show that I'm literally just escaping my life in and not doing anything decent. Or, oh, it's summertime, like my playlist's about to change and I'm going to listen to more upbeat and less depressing music because the sun's shining. Or if you're in the UK and it's gone all 4 seasons every day, maybe that Spotify playlist is getting a bit of a...
the music just gets more depressing for me.
Yeah. But it's definitely interesting to take time to think about like how habits and that reward cycle plays on to your resilience and the different frames of mind that you have. Because again, if you've got a positive reward cycle, it's going to be far easier to build routines and everything else. To tie it again all the way back to the beginning. If you're running low on friggin' sugar and you're craving a fizzy drink and that, how likely are you going to be strict elsewhere in your life?
God, no.
And if something goes wrong in your life, how quick are you going to be to blame it on that one thing that didn't happen? So I ain't had my morning coffee. That's why I dropped my keys down the drain and friggin' hit my head off the friggin' this and done that or whatever. Like, yeah, it really is interesting to think about how our habits set us up for each day and how one knocks onto the next. Is there anything more that you want to add on to the habits of things before we think about rounding this bad boy up?
Not really, no.
I mean, there's so many lessons in habits that I need to friggin' look into for myself. That like, bro, breaking my bad habits, that's like a friggin' whole, not even a mini series on its own. That's a friggin' large series.
True.
Just about going over what you actually need to think about in different stages of your habits and why you do them. Like, I know I've fallen into so many bad habit cycles just because of negative routines or escapism or comfort cycles. So taking the time to think about your relationship with your habits and your happiness and how the two interact, yeah.
Definitely.
It's definitely one that needs more time and more planning. But that's my bad habit of just, hey, deal with life and make it work somehow.
True.
Anyway, let's wrap this bad boy up with a seed. The seed for this episode is understand your habits and your happiness feed into one another. So if you've got some bad habits that are making you miserable, there's probably a reason that you're doing this cycle. There's something that you need to unpack. There's a way to break the habit cycle. And a bit of genuine advice, if you want to break the habit cycle of using apps on your phone, move where the apps are. It's so simple and so stupid, but put them in an extra folder. Just break that muscle memory cycle. and you'll understand how quick and how easy it is to shift some of your habits. Because not all of them are carved in stone. Some of them are harder to get rid of, like our sugar addictions, but some of them are a lot easier to rewire. It just takes a little trick or two. All the best, and we'll catch you on the next one.